All this planning is for a no-deal Brexit. If we find that the withdrawal agreement is approved by the United Kingdom Parliament, then we have an agreement in place that will provide that degree of certainty until the end of 2020, and then we have more time in which to carry out those preparations. But I do think the preparations the government is taking place both at a logistical level and also at a legal level under the direction of the Attorney General Michael Yamas. I think those two sets of preparations will stand us in good stead if there is a withdrawal agreement and if we have to face the same scenario in 2020.
And in terms of the preparation, obviously the private sector, the private industries as well, playing a major role. How satisfied are you?
We had a discussion this week both with the board of the Chamber of Commerce and with the board of the Federation of Small Businesses on a number of other areas where Brexit, as you would imagine, was raised in both of those meetings. And we have also had contact not just with organizations but also with individual entities, individual commercial entities. For example, the large supermarkets in Gibraltar, we've met them individually. We've met with freight companies. So there is constant interaction and discussion across the board, and there has been, particularly when the government has needed to take a decision. So in 2016, after the referendum, when a series of heat maps were produced as to the effects of a Brexit, we consulted extensively at that time with the private sector. This is ongoing, and it will be ongoing, and it will continue even after we leave the European Union if things go in that direction at the end of March.
But one thing, a positive probably that you take from this as well, it's probably one of those situations or circumstances which is seeing the Gibraltar government working very closely with the UK government.
I think in all my time in government, and perhaps even before, because of the intensity of Brexit, there is now a very close working relationship between the administration, the civil service here in Gibraltar, and their counterparts in the United Kingdom. So I think that's happening practically on a daily basis. One thing we've mentioned already to the United Kingdom government is that the structure that exists now of a joint ministerial council of UK ministers and Gibraltar ministers meeting once a quarter with relevant officials to highlight and to deal with any particular issue is one that works. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've taken issues to that council, officials have appeared, ministers have appeared, and those issues have been addressed. So it works. And it also led to this degree of interaction between the two administrations, which certainly wasn't there before. And I think another silver lining of Brexit, if I may refer to it as a silver lining, is the fact that we now have contact with the devolved administrations. I mean, there was no contact with the Scottish government, the Welsh government, or the Northern Ireland executive before Brexit has happened. We now have a regular contact on a number of different issues as we affect them. We exchange views and we exchange opinions on how things are developing with regard to each other. I think that is also important. Also, it brings us into the wider British family of nations. But let me just make one general point in relation to Brexit contingency planning, and that is that people should not panic. That is to say, we have to prepare for a no-deal Brexit in case there is no deal, but we know the United Kingdom and the European Union are very interested in making sure that the withdrawal agreement concluded by both of them in November, that agreement is approved by the UK Parliament and actually comes into force, so that what we have on the 29th of March of this year is a transitional period coming into effect. But generally speaking, things should remain very much as they are until the end of 2020, and that is what we are working for an orderly, a well-managed and a sensible Brexit. If that does not happen, we have to put provisions in place to make sure that Gibraltar and indeed the United Kingdom itself is protected by making sure there are preparations in place and there are contingencies in place for the event of a no-deal Brexit.